So I am decluttering my apartment right now because we're moving back to Europe. This is a huge move and it's the perfect time for a big declutter, but I'm also a little bit of a do-gooder and I don't want to declutter in the traditional way, or let's rather say the wasteful way. I want to look at it from a little bit more of a sustainable and responsible angle. In the next couple minutes, I would like to share 6 tips on how we can declutter in a more sustainable and responsible way. So let's dive right into them. If you're new here, hi, my name's Amanda. Welcome to this channel where we talk about mindful consumption. So if you find yourself in the buy and declutter cycle, or if you are an overconsumer, then you might want to stick around. And with that being said, let's jump right into the 6 tips on how we can declutter in a better way. So just so you guys know what I am working with right now, we are moving from this apartment, it is 1,200 square feet in the US, to an apartment on the outskirts of Berlin, Germany, that will be around 900 square feet. So we are going to downsize, which implies that we have to declutter a little bit because we have been accumulating a lot of stuff. And even though it is very tempting to just pile up all the things that I want to get rid of and just dump it at the donation center, that is not the way I want to go about it this time, and I want to do it a little bit more intentionally. So the first category that I made up for all the stuff that I want to get rid of is the rehome category. So I don't want to just donate or just throw in the trash stuff. That is perfectly fine, but I want to rehome it intentionally. That means I want to give it to friends, to family. I want to post it in a no-buy group, for example. I have one here in my area that is on Facebook. You can find your no-buy groups also on Facebook or online, and they are a very, very good tool for getting rid of things, but also making sure that the things that you're getting rid of, someone else is needing them and is going to use them, so they don't go into a landfill or are being dumped at a donation center where they also end up in a landfill, because not all the donations are getting used. In fact, it's only a very, very small fraction of all the items that are being donated. The other category that I'm going to categorize my items in is going to be reuse. Now, this does not sound like traditional decluttering advice, right? Because decluttering is all about getting rid of things. But if you want to look at it from a sustainable angle, oftentimes the things that we already have can be repurposed and reused. So for example, I cut old t-shirts that I didn't want to donate because they were really beat up, or like no one will really want them, I'm sure. I cut them up into cleaning racks. You can reuse all the different jars and containers that you have, either for a bathroom, for the kitchen, for different other areas. Become a little bit more creative and think about all the different areas of your life where you might need a container. I mean, old candles can be reused as containers. You can use old pots as plant pots. You can use all different sorts of containers for gardening and all sorts of things. So there are so many different ways where we can creatively think of reusing the items that we already have, and we don't have to throw them out. The next pile that I put my stuff that I want to get rid of in is the recycling pile. Okay, that's my dog. So clothes, for example, who can't be sold anyway because they're damaged or they're not in shape anymore or there's stains on them or whatever, you can actually send them to different recycling programs. One of them is, for example, the Take Back bag by Trashy. I got this, no sponsoring or anything. I bought this myself. I got one of these Take Back bags that I can fill with all the things that are damaged that I can't donate because no one will actually buy them. And then they take care of it and recycle it properly. These Take Back bags cost, I think, $20 or so, but you get kind of rewards. So if you send that in, you get sort of points that you can acquire, and then you can spend these points with other brands. For example, you want to get rid of your old pair of pants because it's damaged or something, then you can take those points and put them towards getting a new pair of pants. That's sort of the idea behind it. It's definitely not perfect, but it is a better way to dispose of the things that you cannot donate in a better way. You can also make sure to recycle your electronics properly. Glass, in a proper way. Cardboard, all the things that can properly be recycled, you can put them in your recycling bin, or you can send them to programs that do the recycling for you. The next pile is a little bit more of a classic decluttering pile, which is the donating part. I'm not a fan of just gathering all the donation stuff and then just dumping it at the next Goodwill, but rather try to be a little bit more intentional about it. Don't go to the Goodwill first. Maybe try your local and smaller consignment shops, vintage shops, and donation centers first. Also think about churches, pet shelters, women's shelters, homeless shelters. There are so many nice organizations that take things that are still in good condition and that are a little bit more intentional about it, because oftentimes the Goodwills of the world are being overwhelmed with all the donations and with all the low quality stuff that's being dumped there. I personally donated a lot of my clothes and also friends' clothes to a women's shelter that is very close to the office that I work in. They're always very, very grateful for all the donations. You can see where they put them. The people are actually in need of clothes, especially business kind of clothes, because the women who come there, sometimes they need a job and they need to do job interviews, so they need maybe a nice blazer or nice pants for work. So that is something that they can provide. Just make sure that the place you donated to really is a place where it's being used. Being intentional about where to donate your stuff prevents it from going into the landfill sooner than necessary. The next category might also sound a little bit counterintuitive to the decluttering narrative that is out there online, and that category is storing. Store the things that you're not sure about. I'm going to tell you why in just a bit, but let me just tell you a story. I used to be a person who would love to declutter. I would actually go as far as saying I would be kind of addicted to decluttering. I was also sort of addicted to fast fashion. That's a whole other story. But I oftentimes found myself being overwhelmed with all the things that I had and then really feeling that itch to purge all of it, right? And get rid of the stuff because it was just annoying me and it was too much. And I just wanted to have it gone right now at that point, right? I'm sure you can relate. But what I also often found was, especially with clothes, things came back in style and then I wanted to have it again. And I would buy the exact item or a very similar item that I previously had decluttered. And especially with things like clothes, but also with other things, of course, that are non-perishable. But for things that you might have a use for in the future, I honestly think that it can be very valuable to store it in your garage, maybe in a storage space, or in other spaces in your home if you have the space, in a closet or wherever, that you can revisit it, for example, 6 months from now or a year from now, and look at it again and then decide, okay, do I really keep this? Do I give this to someone else? Maybe you can also take a picture, upload it to some sort of Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, wherever, and see if someone wants it and you can sell it, and then that's fine. But if you can't sell it, then you just store it. And I often found that with things that I found again, for example, recently I found a couple of rings that were not really my size, they were too big, but I purchased them years and years ago, I would say like 15 years ago in Peru. And what I did is I stored them just because I didn't want to get rid of them because they were so pretty. And now I recently found them again, and I just got these ring adjusters that are like little plastic inserts that you put into your ring that make the ring smaller, and now I can use them. And I love these rings and I use them all the time and they bring me so much joy. Same goes for fashion that maybe went out of style but then is coming back. I mean, everything in fashion is kind of circular and makes a comeback. So if there is something that you think, this may be going out of style, for example, skinny jeans, right now they're not really in style. And I'm not going to tell you to not wear skinny jeans or to wear whatever the you want, but I, for example, stored a couple of my skinny jeans that I thought maybe they're coming back in style, or maybe I want to style them again in a different way at some point. So I just store them. Hopefully I'll have the same size when I want to wear them again, but it doesn't really matter. I did not get rid of them. And I see a lot of fashion influencers, people on TikTok, just getting rid of things just because it's not in style anymore. And I'm like, What? Just like we store things for the different seasons, I don't have my winter coats out all the time. I have them stored somewhere. I think the same thing goes for other items in our house that we can just store and revisit again and kind of shop our garage or shop our closet or whatever we have and kind of rediscover the things that we already had. I think there is something very, very beautiful about rediscovering stuff in your house that you forgot about, and then you can use it again. And it's like you went shopping, but you didn't. The really, really last resort should be your trash. I mean, if we did all the work before, rehoming, recycling, reusing, donating responsibly, I think we should not feel guilty for throwing trash in the trash, okay? Of course, we don't want to be unnecessarily wasteful, but some things, let's just face it, are trash, and then you can just dispose of them in the trash. What I really have a problem with is this narrative of we need to purge and we need to just dump everything and just throw everything out without really thinking about the impact that it's having. That is something that I wish more people would think about when decluttering. I don't think that there's a problem with decluttering. I actually like decluttering. It's really satisfying and it's nice to have a uncluttered home and a home that feels clean and organized, absolutely. But I also think that we really need to make sure that we don't overdo it with dumping things in the trash, honestly. Now, the biggest takeaway of all, if there's only one thing that you take away from this video, let it be this. Do not declutter just to fall back into the overconsumption trap. Please don't. Don't do what a lot of influencers are doing with all the PR that they get sent to and whatnot. Don't do that. Don't get rid of things that were perfectly fine to begin with. Only to go out and purchase something else. Really rethink your consumption habits and become aware of how you are decluttering, how you are consuming, what you are thinking about trends, about viral products, and how you're being influenced by influencers or by marketing in general or by social media. It doesn't matter. I just challenge you to not declutter, to go and binge again. No, we don't want to be in that vicious cycle, okay? We want to become more mindful shoppers, consumers, people in general, because it's just so damaging to not only the planet. I think the planet is, for me, honestly, the biggest motivation to not consume all the time, because I just can't stand the thought of the things that I buy and then I discard them to be, I don't know, in the ocean or in a landfill or in, I don't know, polluting water somewhere. Really become a little bit more aware. Think about, when do I shop most? Where do I shop most? What's your like kryptonite? Is it Target? Is it Amazon? Whatever big retailer there is, right? Everyone has their little vice, but we don't have to have. We can take a step back. We can reprogram our minds. And that's what my channel hopefully is all about. Make sure you work on that awareness. Create a wish list. Do a no-buy challenge or a Project Pan. And if you want to learn how to set yourself up for success with all these mindful consumption challenges, you can watch this video right here where I break down a couple of my favorite tips on how I maintain this underconsumption lifestyle and don't spiral into the overconsumption loop again. And I see you in my next video. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you so much. Mwah! Danke, danke, tschüss.